Alright guys, so today we're going to start on the fuel pump install. Needs to be done before it goes to the tuner, so we're getting it done. Let's get started. So, first thing you need to do is get the rear end jacked up. I've already done so. Get the jack stands underneath. Second, what you're going to need to do, which I've already done, is pull out these, the carpet that goes over the gas tank, as well as the one that goes over the spare tire. Alright, so next step where we're at is you need to remove this bolt, and these two up here. These are a 14. They're actually a inverted Torx E18, but a 14 mil sits on it, so that's what I have. So I'm not going to go and spend more money on an inverted Torx that I'm going to use maybe a handful of times. So just gonna use a 14. It comes off, it fits over it just fine. So alright, so let's get these bolts out. Okay. Alright, keep these. We're still gonna need them. And then let's move on to the 213s. Alright, these 213s up here are just going to come out as well. And then this whole cage should just come right out. And it does, and it weighs a ton. Alright, next what we're going to do is unplug the fuel pump wire harness plug, which is right here. It's just a clip. Although this plastic is a little old, which means it's going to be brittle, so you gotta be very careful with it. Otherwise it's going to break, and we don't want that. So pulls right out, and then the next step, once that's removed, we've got that strap and that strap. So go ahead, it's another 13 mil. So just pull that off, put it in another pile of nuts and bolts. Now, since there's not a whole lot of nuts and bolts with this one, we're just gonna put them in a pile all together. Like when I did my cam swap, you want to make sure everything's separated, all the bolts stay together, because it can get, you just have so many bolts everywhere and you can forget where everything goes. So I put everything in clear plastic baggies, labeled them and all that. For this, again, we don't have that whole lot of bolts and all that, so not gonna do that. So next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna release the fuel pressure. So different again for every car, but on the GTOs and LS1s there's a Schrader valve. It's right there. You just push it in, releases the fuel pressure, you're good. Alright guys, so now we're underneath the car. We need to disconnect the lower lines from the tank. So once you get underneath, you'll see you have those two lines. I've already disconnected them, but the left side is a squeeze, the right side is a push. So you have to be careful because they're super brittle, but those are the two lines we need to disconnect from underneath here. And then we'll also have to disconnect the differential speed sensor, so we'll do that next. Alright guys, so like I was saying, we gotta get these. They just unclip right here and right here, and then we're gonna remove 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 bolts. Then you gotta go around and remove each of these clips. I'm gonna do that now. Okay guys, we got the cover off, and now what we're gonna do is take out the two 17 mils that hold in the fuel tank retaining strap. So it's going to be that one right there and that one right there. Alright guys, so once you get the straps out, you go ahead and pull these out. These are the 3 ones that hold the filler neck to here. So that comes out, you push that out, and then you pull the tank actually out. There is a shipping strap that goes right here. That needs to be cut, as well as the clamp that goes right here. That needs to be cut as well. Then around the tank you have all these little clips. You need to be careful not to break them. All those little clips need to come out, and then the top shell will come off the gas tank. Alright guys, and with that top cover off, we're right here up at the top of the gas tank. So our next move is going to be removing this right here. Now this is going to be another one of those squeeze and pulls. You might get some fuel on the top. Oh, we didn't. Okay, so there. And then we have some more clips here. One pops up, one pops back, and that can then be moved out of the way. And then we're left with that. So the next step is this ring. We're going to have to turn it. So what we do is we take a screwdriver. Let me see, where did mine go? Mine has gone missing. Here's one. So screwdriver right there. And then we just hit that in with a hammer. This will turn and pop up, and we have access to our fuel pump. Alright, 2 more things need to happen before the pump comes out. Got the ring off. What we need to do is unclip that, as well as that one that's down inside of the tank there. You gotta do it carefully. You don't want to break anything. You don't want anything to fall in the tank. So just be very careful, be very clean. Don't break anything. Alright guys, so I've got the fuel pump out, and it's kind of disassembled now. But what you need to do is separate this bottom unit by removing all these clips. Then that will separate. Then you remove this piece, which comes off right here. Same clip design. Remove this. There are 2 clips on the inside. Fuel pump pulls out, and that's the stock one. So that's where we're at right now. The new one we have right here. There's this spacer right there that needs to go on right here, and then we'll use the O-ring from this on top of the new one. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you in the directions the next step that you have to do. You have to drill out or cut out these little pieces in the directions you see. They're inside there, and what it does is it allows you to put a bigger fuel pump in there. So you want to cut until you get about to that line right there, and you know that you've done it correctly when you go to put it in, and you can see that the fuel pump's electrical connector is about 3/4 of the way up of that window. So yeah, so that's where we're at right now. Next, what we're gonna do is put the fuel sock on, and the way that it is showing is it's like this. And give it one little push. Alright. Okay guys, fuel sock is on, and it's out of the way. Now on to the next step. Alright guys, so once you get the sock on, you push it in, you just reconnect the connectors that you've taken off previously, as well as the hoses, and then you go ahead, put it back in. You want to make sure you get that clamp connected, as well as the one on the top there. So then reinstalling this is, let's see, how are we going to do this? So you just push down to get this flat, and then the ring is going to go back on. Before we do that though, almost forgot, we have a new gasket for this tank. So I'm going to pull this old one off, put the new one on, and we're good. All we need to do is just tap it back the opposite way, like we did with removal, and it'll go back on. Alright, and then the sensors and everything plug back in. Got the hose here. You want to make sure you don't rip the O-ring inside, so you got to be careful. Alright, clicks. One more. Well, that was kind of a click. Make sure that's on there. Okay. Alright, so that's good. Now let's start putting it back together. Alright guys, so install is the exact opposite of taking it out. So everything goes back in the same way. Just a few key things to remember are this clip. You want to put that worm gear band on there, and then bolting back up the fuel line, and then the ones underneath, don't forget those. But other than that, we'll get it bolted back together and finish this up. Alright guys, everything's back together, running good. Just make sure that when you do put it all back together, you cycle the key a few times to let that fuel pressure build up again. And go ahead and turn the key and it'll fire up. So next step is going to be going to the tuner this week for the trans and the dyno tune. So I'll keep you updated, and we'll get some videos going of that too. Alright, stay tuned.